Welcome to Floral Foolishness
Sports.
Spartany, where it's always island time on Floral Foolishness Sports. We'll debate current topics
Sports.
inside the sports world and society around it, no matter how unbelievable or ridiculous said situation may be, all while rocking crunchy, vibey island swag, baby. That's right. I'm Stoczy, and with me, as always, is the Dragon Wrangler, Jeremy Phelps.
What up?
What up, indeed? Yeah, so we're back, and so we're stealing elements from other shows because, well, screw it, right? It's fun. So Wrangler, opening statement, no rebuttal period. We're just gonna roll with it. Just don't monologue too much.
Yeah, so my opening statement, it's something we've talked about a couple times before, but so I'm coaching a fifth, sixth grade box lacrosse team right now. And for anybody that knows me, it's my own personal hell. I don't know how I fucking got shafted with it. But so we had our first tournament this weekend and we were playing up in age divisions. We were playing in the seventh, eighth grade division. And so we got just absolutely pumped in every single game because our little fifth, sixth graders were pussies and didn't want to get hit. So they just ran away from every bit of contact ever. But where I'm going with this is after our first game, we lose something like 11-2 or something like that, just get absolutely blown out. And as we're walking off the field, there's a mom over to the side from our team, and she's like, "Good job, guys. That was a really good game. Good job, guys. We're winning." I'm like,
Know exactly where
maybe
this is going.
maybe in 2024 we get away from the fucking everybody gets a participation trophy medal type thing and just get to a point where you don't get to be 19 and going into a job interview with your mom because you don't know how to do anything for yourself. Maybe we just accept the fact that if we're keeping score in a competitive box tournament, that we keep score and we accept the reality that maybe you didn't play all that well. Maybe your teammates didn't either. Maybe you don't belong there. I think the first episode I ever did on one of our previous shows, we talked about a different tournament I was coaching in, and this kid wasn't drinking water, so his mom had to yell from the sidelines about the fact he needed to drink his Gatorade.
Gatorade and no shoes.
AJ, Gatorade and no shoes, AJ. If we're getting to a point where you can't even drink your own Gatorade without mom telling you have to, I don't know where we're going societally right now, and I think that scares me.
Put blankets on before you go to sleep, AJ.
AJ, make sure you pay for your date's dinner, AJ. Don't make her pay for it herself if you want to get handsy after.
God, we gotta have I don't know, great Aunt Ursula's fucking words of wisdom. That might be a segment one week.
Ursula's words of wisdom's just like, don't go lighting your bed on fire because then you ain't gonna have no place to sleep, AJ.
That was a piece of advice I got IRL.
And to be fair, you haven't done it, so clearly it's working.
Yeah, that's what you learn in an internship, kids. Yeah,
who knows where you'd be without it?
Sleeping on a floor probably would have a better back, but not as much sleep time. So
peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was wondering how long it would take for the participation trophy stuff to come up for you. I should have went with the under one episode, but
under about 45 seconds. Yeah.
It's just like, all right, here on Floral Floor, let me talk about participation trophies for a second. This is something we've never discussed.
We should just carry it in society, honestly. If we're going to give it to you as a kid, you should get it when you're an adult, too. Like, if you're, working a job and you're out there and you're in, accounting and you're, the sixth best accountant, you should get, you're the sixth best accountant trophy. Like, everybody else gets, a pizza party and you get, a slice of broccoli. Not even on the pizza, just broccoli by itself.
No cheese, no salt, no pepper, nothing. Just raw broccoli.
Yep. Maybe you got a piece of white bread.
just some Wonder Bread shit that's been sitting in the cupboard for 6 months. It's like, this isn't bread. This is mold. We're almost a beer. Which to your everybody should have a participation trophy bit. I was going to say, isn't beer a participation trophy of sorts?
No, I drank to win.
We play real sports here on Floral
Yeah.
Foolishness.
If you're trying to be the best at exercising, then sure, beer's a participation trophy.
Yeah, I guess I should have really thought of the Michelob Ultra commercials, but those are never on the forefront of my mind, or nor should they be on your mind, good listener. So here's my opening statement. Because I want to address this right the fuck now. We're not podcasters.
Nope.
I just want to get that right out there right now. So, oh man, Stoats Jeremy doing another fucking show. I should keep up because we're stupid.
Yep.
We're not podcasters,
Accurate.
but we are stupid and have 5 degrees between us, which probably means we're doubly stupid or 5 times stupid, whatever. 5 times
It means
whatever.
5 institutions are stupider than we are. So
something like that. So, and I think that's why, at least from my perspective, why Plaster didn't last, because we kind of got away from that. And then Sobs wasn't really going to last because that wasn't really the intent of Sobs when we launched it initially.
Mm-hmm.
So after a little bit of a break, Jeremy's like, I got the fever only pretending to be podcasters could solve.
Yep.
I was like, oh God, here we go again. But we came up with this concept of, playing to the strengths. Strength number 1 is obviously the Hawaiian shirt gig. It is on fleek. I don't know what you Gen Zers say.
On fire.
Well, I just think it's
on
nifty.
Fuego. I just think it's swell.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was obviously a part to this, and it's like, well, we got to talk about sports because we like those sometimes, and we got to do stupid stuff because we like stupid stuff. So that's how we got here.
I think you're right. I think Plaster just got too serious and too much a place for people to vent their frustrations, which, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of reason to vent frustration, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, the whole reason, like, this is just an outlet to just talk about stupid shit, get a little drunk, and then talk about even stupider shit.
Yeah. And it's like each time that those shows either started to go off the wagon or we just didn't do it anymore. Excuse me, when we hit that point of, well, it's a podcast now. Yeah. So, if you're looking for continuity or like fun graphics or minimal editing, look elsewhere. Like we're doing this one shot too. I just want to say that too from the beginning. If you ever see us do a cut, it's because Mecha Hitler joined the conversation at some point and we had to cut it out, or else,
because we had to cut an entire segment because something went off the rails. Somebody took their pants off. Like, something happened.
Not to say that hasn't.
It would have ended us up in jail instead of just ended getting us kicked off. If we get kicked off of Spotify, who cares?
Yeah, I've been kicked out of worse or better internet forums, so it'll
happen again.
Yeah, it'll happen again. Yeah. Oh, I love it. And right to start the show, within the first 10 minutes, I get an alert from Zoom that says your internet is unstable. Aren't we all, Zoom? Stop judging us. Aren't we all? That's the perfect transition to our next, or actually our first segment. Yay! We're past opening statements. Let's go.
So, not to cut in here, but I'm going to get us off the rails for a second because I have 2 things to get us off the rails. I'm going to tell a story while I'm transitioning into another one.
Yes.
I saw a thing the other day, and it was like, I don't know what the difference is between a GIF and a meme, but it was one of them, and it was a picture. And this woman texts this dude, and she's like, "Is your son a youth medium?" And he responds, and he goes, "Like a child psychic? No, what the fuck are you asking me?" She's like, "No, a fucking shirt size, dumbass." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that makes more sense." But my transition, where I'm going with this, and I appreciate the fact that in the first 5 minutes you brought up a Mickey Ultra commercial, because I have a very special drink to start us off here. I was going to get beer, and I was walking around, grabbed a case of Yingling, and as I'm grabbing the case of Yingling, I was off the side, and this pretty orange can catches my attention. I'm like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I look at it, and it says Michelob Ultra, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I look at it more. Michelob Ultra Infusions, mango and chili. Sorry, mango chili with a Y, not an A.
Mango chili.
So, a light lager with real fruit and natural flavors. I'm gonna try this for the first time, and you're gonna get my honest, not cut out reaction because I have a strong feeling I might throw up as soon as I take this. But we're gonna start things off on a high note here and get tropical, a little mango and a little chili. It's like if somebody put Bush Light into an emptied out mango shell and then put it through like a funnel at spring break. So kind of just like dirty mop water, but with like a little like I don't know, like orange flavoring mixed in there.
I wanted to mute myself just so it stayed on your picture the whole time. That's wonderful. I love that.
It's
Do you
it's
want
not
to
a
go
good
ahead?
beer.
Do you want to go ahead and untap that?
Oh
I
yeah, I
mean, with
do
that
actually.
same descriptor, just
You want to
exactly.
do it before I forget it here? It's a good call.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a good call.
Which, by the way, we're going to name a bunch of people who are not our sponsors at all on this show, and I think that's our first unofficial, not real sponsor of the show is
I will
Untapped.
say the difference though is that in this situation, Mango Eat Chili actually has a 3.15 on Untapped, which is shocking that it's that high.
Wow.
Uh, Michelob Ultra, if you want to sponsor us, don't. We're better than you.
Even your mangoey chili beer didn't do anything to help that situation. So yeah, if you're not on Untapped for a little bit more context of what goes on, it's social media for beer. You take pictures of beer, which people want to see, and you rate them on a 5 point scale, depending on what level you sign up for. You could do it by quarters. You would do it by tenths if you give them $50 a month to upkeep the app. It's fantastic. You can see what other people have rated beers, read reviews. Hey, you can friend us even. We're both on there. Mike Stote. Well, I
Ooh,
think mine is Michael Stotes.
new
I
friends.
don't know. And then Phelpsy's on there too. So just look for us on Untapped. I think that's the only social media channel we'll be on outside of Spotify because we have to be. So, but that's okay. That's okay. So the mango chili,
Oh, it's
um,
so spicy.
that yeah, I'm so
Did not
sorry.
deliver. It did not deliver at all.
He hyped it up so
Not
much.
even, not even a little bit. Yeah. So if you're trying to friend us on Untapped, I'm Phelps J2, spelled just like my last name here, and Stoczy is Stoked Stotes, STOKED Stoke
Oh
Stotes,
yeah. God, we've had those things for so fucking long now.
2015,
2015
8 years.
for you. Oh God, I gotta look at mine. They just use it so much. It's a fantastic app. Even though Jeremy is like lapping me at this point from checked in beers, but
Well, I was down for like 7 years, and then I dated an alcoholic, and here we are. So yeah.
that'll do it. Yeah, March 7th, 2015. I think that's
March
McChesney's birthday.
March 8th, 2015, 2,253 check-ins. So I've been drunk pretty constantly for the last 9 years here.
That's that tracks.
Yep.
That tracks. Yeah, I
How
have.
you how you find your way into a not podcast in 2024.
We're not podcasters. 1,664 unique beers. And I don't check in multiples usually. The only time I did that was just to get the badge. So, and they give you
Yeah,
badges
even
for
to get
being an alcoholic. So there's your
which
participation trophy right there.
hey, again, you have to compete for those. There's nothing participation about that unless it's the check-in to every beer, not individual beers one, which I will never do. I'm never going to get that badge.
No.
I
Yeah, no way.
fundamentally refuse. I just hope that one day Untapp's like, wow, you're so much of an alcoholic and so committed to this. You deserve it. We're just going to give you this badge.
I hope so too. I mean, they send all kinds of neat like info stuff like where big beer fests are happening. And then
Your
my
internet does suck, bro. You're cutting out right now.
oh well, good thing that we're recording on mine because it has my stuff. God, it's saying my internet connection is unstable. Come on. I can only roll with that joke once, internet. Grow up. Grow up. Like, go
If
get some therapy.
listeners, let this be a lesson. If your computer has the balls to tell you 3 times that your internet connection's unstable, you have the balls to go talk to that pretty girl that you like.
Ooh. Ooh, it's life advice from Mango Chili Beer.
Oh, God, also don't drink this. That's better life advice. You have to pick between the two. Pick don't drink this.
All right. So I think what other show semantics should we go over? Um, I guess
So
we're gonna have a rotating cast of ideas and stuff, so it won't be the same thing every time. We'll have
yeah,
episodes where we just do stupid shit.
more times than not, it's just going to be stupid shit. So don't take anything that we talk about too seriously. But yeah, like certain guests we bring on, we're going to get a lot more serious for that segment. And then we're going to get rid of them for a segment so we can get just fucking redonkulous again. And then other guests that we'll have on from time to time will be so fucked up by the time they get on that they won't be serious from the start. So yeah, basically just don't take anything too serious because we're not going to.
Hell no, we on island time, baby. It's island time. All right.
4 p.m. on a Thursday, Island time at its finest.
Oh yeah. It's a party in the USA. Oh yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the first segment since we've already
Oh
derailed the
yeah.
show. I love it. I love it. So we head into America's pastime, making fun of Cowboys fans unrelentingly for being bad at football and everything else. NFL wildcard rounds are in the books. Divisional rounds about to get underway. The Cowboys got pantsed by
Cool.
my new boy. I'm gonna do it. I'm going in on him. He's my
Oh,
boy, Jordan Love.
oh, this is a first.
He's my
We're just
boy,
breaking barriers right now in episode one.
breaking so many barriers. I absolutely love what what Lafleur is doing with the team. We got the youngest team in the NFL going this fucking
You
next
know,
round of the playoffs.
I don't
Oh
think we
man,
have any. I don't think we have any social pages yet. But if we do, we need to put a Twitter post up of what's a bigger groundbreaking in episode one: Stoczy admitting that he likes Jordan Love, or James Earl Jones breaking the color barrier by pretending to be a white guy. Which one's a bigger episode one? Who knows? Who knows? Even though it wound up being episode four, but really it was episode one. So
I'm definitely 100% going with James Earl Jones on that one. But hey, you know what? Prove me wrong. Prove
I
me
actually
wrong.
saw him read the national anthem once. It was a really fucking weird day.
Oh
You know
man.
how like most times they get celebrities and they'll be like, "Oh, the celebrity is going to come in and sing." You're like, "It's a pretty big deal." Well, James Earl Jones is not a singer. I was at a Fort Wayne Wizards single A baseball game, and they brought James Earl Jones to read the national anthem, and he reads just like he talks. It's
Yeah,
you
that's his
can
natural
imagine it.
voice.
You can imagine it in your own head of what it was like. It was like slam poetry, but like on a baseball field.
Dude, and this is how this show is going to go. We're just going to get off topic. We're going to come
All the
back to
time
the football.
at some
Um,
point.
but now we're talking about national anthem singers. Were you with us in Greenville the one time that Greenville, South Carolina, when we went to a brewery called 13 Stripes, amazing brewery.
I've been there.
They're not our sponsors. I
Not
would
yet.
like to think they're our unofficial sponsors as well.
Someday soon.
But we went there, we got a little bit drunk, and then went and explored. It's in a mill, like an old mill building.
Yeah.
Like, were you
It's
with us when we did that and we found the national anthem singer's office in there?
No, I don't think
Oh
so.
shit, yeah,
The national anthem singer's office?
yeah. There was one of them. So, we were like, and it's an old mill building, like that. It's not
Oh,
well
yeah.
lit anywhere.
The mill itself, like the building's massive. The brewery's not that big, but the mill
Mhm.
around it's enormous. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went and got lost in this fucking thing, and it's I think like 4 floors, and so we were on the top floor. I think it was Sluga and maybe McPeters. That might have been the last time I saw McPeters. Oh shit. Anyways, he's still alive. Don't worry about him. He's fine.
He's
He's
still in
just
Korea.
he's somewhere not in America. That's the last I heard. But anyways,
Fair enough.
McPeters, if you're listening, via con Dios and all that. So we walk around, we find this like weird lit office that's also a it's got all this like these jerseys,
Yeah.
and they're like minor league jerseys, and they're real obscure. And obviously, they had some of the Greenville teams, like the Swamp Rabbits, their hockey team, the Drive, the baseball team. I even think they had an old school Greenville Groove minor league basketball jersey
Okay, it's
for
legit.
For those of you who are looking for obscure Greenville, South Carolina sports trivia, gotcha. So we're like, what the fuck is, and nobody is there. Like, we could have just walked in and been like, mine, walked out, and probably nothing would have happened. And so all of a sudden, out of the shadows, this guy appears like, hello. I mean, he is just like, it is the creepiest, but oddly welcoming sort of sense to it. And we're like, hey, what the hell is this place? And he's like, oh, are you a fan of my artwork? And we're like, dude, we don't even know where the fuck we're at right now. You know, I mean, I think one of us is still walking around with a beer.
And that was the last words we heard. Are you a fan of my artwork?
Yeah, and that's how McPeters actually died. Story was real. Anyways, no,
You're
it
about
wasn't.
to
He's
be
still
some.
And
See
so,
the lampshade in my office?
it puts
It's human.
It puts the lotion on the lampshade. But so this guy, he's like showing us his artwork and he's talking about it. He's like, all right, you guys gotta know my shtick before you leave. And I was like, we didn't even know you existed beforehand, bro. And this dude's like, so I paint while singing the national anthem. And apparently all of his artwork is like artwork he's done while singing the national anthem at minor or major league sporting events. Yeah. And so all these jerseys he got were like thank yous for doing that and shit. I was like, that's pretty fucking impressive. And then we got the fuck out of there because it was creepy.
Yeah, smart decision. That I'm pretty sure that's how Jigsaw starts. I think one day he was like, do you want to play my painting game? And they were like, no, sorry, we don't have the budget anymore. We're just going to get like a kids choir. And he's like, what? A kids choir? Oh, we're all going to play a game now.
And then he gets into a car accident and finds out he has cancer. But, you know, we're going to blame it on the kids chorus. Hell yeah.
Kids, cancer, they both start with a K. Just saying, they're both kind of a disease. There's not really a whole lot of difference there. Also, the deeper you get into this, now there's less mango and it tastes more like chili. You'd think they'd mix them together. I think they just layered them.
Oh God.
So the bottom third is probably going to be just Mickey Ultra by itself with neither.
Dude, you need to shake that shit up.
And it's going to explode everywhere. It's going to make it worse.
Do you have other ones of that?
They had more. This is the only one I got because when I saw it in the pretty orange can, I have ADD and I couldn't get any farther. That's all I could pay attention to.
Oh man, God! And you thought we were going to go on a rant about how much the Cowboys suck?
Not yet.
Got them. So actually, before we even get into this segment, Wrangler, go ahead and tell everybody, including our great friend Alonzo Maestas Esquire, other degrees after him, why the Cowboys suck.
Well, that's too long of a question to fit into one show, but the simple answer is Dak Prescott's a junior varsity level quarterback who everybody blows up to think he's great because the Cowboys have this aura of being awesome, which they're not. They don't have a run game because they got rid of Zeke and Tony Pollard's startingly average.
And Zeke in New England is sucking.
Horrible. New England's team's horrible, but Zeke is horrible there. CeeDee Lamb's a legitimate receiver, but he's the only player on their entire roster that can catch football. Yeah. And while they do have a legitimate defense, Dan Quinn's about to leave to get another head coaching job where he's going to blow it the way he did in Atlanta. And they just announced today that Mike McCarthy's getting brought back, despite the fact that everybody thought he was going to get fired and Belichick was going to go there. Basically, the reason the Cowboys suck is because Jerry Jones is the guy who would like take his ball and leave if he didn't get picked first. And that's still happening now into his 70s. That's why the Cowboys are terrible. And they have one of the worst fan bases in the world.
Yeah. Although we love Zoe. For every once in a while, you find a good one.
We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
We all do. So just going through the list of this upcoming weekend's games, we have the Yuccaneers heading to Detroit to face off against the Lions, the Taylor Swifts and the Bills. We have the Texans and Ravens, as well as the Go Pack Go Green Bay Packers heading out to sunny San Francisco to take on the 49ers. So we're just going to go with our picks per game. We're each going to give a pick, starting with Bucks at Lions. Wrangler, you're going to go first for each of these, but Bucks at Lions, who do you got? And give a brief summary of the game.
So, Buccaneer ships are not land drawn. However, there is a giant lake that backs up to Detroit. Now, the issue with that is Detroit as a city is guarded by RoboCop, um,
And Bears and
and Bears
BMWs.
and BMWs. Um, the Bucks are the most up and down team in the league this year. There's games that look like Super Bowl contenders. There's games that look like frauds. Now, I was almost about to pick the Bucks, and then yesterday I was reminded of a picture of Baker Mayfield with the Panthers last year, where they thought he was so bad of a quarterback that in practice they had him lined up playing scout team defensive end. Because of that, I got to go with the Lions here. I don't think Baker gets it done. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to go for another almost 200-yard game and light it up. Lions by 10. You're muted, homie.
I am muted. I was just saying, ooh, yeah, that's a big prediction. Um, yeah, I think a lot of us got amnesia about all the flaws in the Bucks offense and the giant gaping holes in the Bucks secondary.
Yep.
Um,
Against
during
a startingly average Eagles defense.
Yeah, lest we forget the Eagles starting off 10-1 this season and fell off a fucking cliff. I mean, if you want to implode, if that's your ultimate goal, the Eagles were your playbook on how to do that. Bad play calling mixed with really bad culture and really not being mentally tough, I think is what it came down to. Bad,
Mm-hmm.
atrocious offensive line play. Um, you add all that together, a Bucks team that is trying to finally move past the short-lived Brady and Gronk not smoking weed era. Um, yeah, and this is not a knock on the Bucks. I think the Bucks are a decent team. I'm not going to say a great team, but they're decent. They have a chance to win the NFC South for a long time, mostly because look who they're playing against.
You could put the best high school team in Georgia in the NFC South, and there's a chance they could win that division.
They're at least winning a game in division.
They'd win
I
a
would say,
couple. They beat the Panthers twice, if nothing else.
yeah. So I think the Bucks are one of these teams that figure they're starting to get the formula. They don't have the full thing figured out just yet. The Lions, I mean, this is like one of the glory year seasons already. All right, they doubled their all-time playoff win record already. Okay, so why not go for fucking broke at this point? At home in front of your folks, you just prove that getting rid of Matt Stafford actually might have been an okay move, even though he won a Super Bowl in LA. There, you could argue that he was surrounded by a lot of great talent that season, which I believe also showed in subsequent season.
Yep.
I think the Lions are going to take this one and run with it as well.
Is that because Jared Goff now understands that the Earth goes around the sun and not the other way around?
No, not at all. He still
Okay.
thinks it's the other way around.
Fair.
So, yeah. Is he sponsored by like the Kyrie Irving shoe brand yet, or?
It wouldn't surprise me if he has the first ever Kyrie cleats. I could definitely see that.
Okay, here's a missed opportunity, and yeah, we're going off the rails now. Why is there not a variant of the Kyrie Irvings that's just the Mark Sargents? I mean, come on.
It's just flat soles for people with flat feet.
Oh no, I was gonna say like
Whoa.
mid calf high, fucking strap up boots. All
We
right.
also we also might need to actually cut part of this episode so nobody steals our Shark Tank idea. We call it the Mark Sargents. It's just people with flat arches. Oh God, it's just like someday it's just Mark Sargent. He's like, for years I've been struggling and trying to find a shoe that matches my flat feet until the Mark Sargent.
We're gonna get an email like tomorrow morning after this episode is posted from the army that says, "Dear sirs, we hear you have a great soul idea. We're looking to up our numbers."
In plastered all the time. I'd challenge people to fight me, and I went undefeated because none of them ever said yes. I'm going to go a different, more zen route this time. And instead of doing that, hey, I'm going to go ahead and ask people to come on our show instead. If you disagree with anything we say or don't like that we're talking about you, Mark, you're welcome to come on.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We're buying in, we're giving you an opportunity to entrench yourself in your brand.
Yeah.
Like,
And if
come on.
and if you don't show up in the next week, we're not going to fight you. You're just a bad guy.
It's unfortunate. It really is. It really is. All right. So that's Bucks at Lions. Next up, we got the Swifties heading to the cold in Buffalo. Phelpsy, what you got? Tell us a story.
So I'm going to go Bills for two simple reasons. The one that everybody would probably agree with, that nobody or everybody, I guess, has thought of at this point, is that the receiving core is dog shit in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is a very average quarterback when he doesn't have Tyreek and Travis playing at a very high level. Rasheen Rice tearing up a beaten up, banged up secondary for the Dolphins, who were missing half of their starting defense going into that game, doesn't show what he really is. This last game was a fluke. When you go up against a healthy defense, which Buffalo has, there's no chance. I got Buffalo. The other reason, though, more importantly, everybody in the world right now is talking about Taylor Swift dating Travis, going to all the KC games. Josh Allen, for those of you who don't know, cheated on his girlfriend and then found a girl way more famous who's also, I believe, a singer. I don't really know, but I think that's what she does. And it's flown under the radar. Haley Steinfeld, I'm sure, will be in attendance as well. And Taylor Swift just being upset by the general fact that I'm sure Haley Steinfeld probably sings music too, that's probably okay as well, is going to be freaked out so much about the idea that some other white bitch is going to be in the stadium with her. She's going to keep Travis Kelce up until 7 a.m. the morning before, just talking about how much she hates this bitch. And as a result, Travis Kelce is going to have 12 passes hit him in the hands and fall to the ground and might take a nap in the middle of a huddle. So I've got Bills by 14.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's a huge margin. Okay, so that brings up another topic we can get off rails with really, really quick. Of the singing, let's call it mafia, that is just like white women. Who is
It is.
your MVP of white woman singer currently? Like that's at least
Ooh.
A minus grade famous.
Ooh. I mean, I think it's got to be Beyonce, although I would give an honorable mention to Sam
I
Smith.
said white women.
White women love Beyonce.
No.
And Sam Smith is a gay Englishman. They love him too.
All right.
If we're talking about just white women that can sing, then
yeah.
I don't know. Pass. I don't have a fucking answer.
Pass.
One or two we just talked about, I guess.
God, mine is obvious if you were paying attention. Mine is Katy Perry, just because, and it's all because of the interview. I love that fucking movie.
It is a phenomenal movie.
Just firework going slow. Oh yeah, that hits. That right fucking here hits. Let's
yeah,
go.
It's so true, so accurate.
Even though her
honestly,
concerts are allegedly shit because she can't sing, but yeah, that's a different story.
White women, I might go Selena Gomez. We're gonna say a quick fact right here that the viewers might not know. My like cry in the car, emotional, I gotta listen to it song, "The Heart Wants What It Wants" by Selena Gomez. If that shit comes on, I'm getting fucking deep.
Ooh. Yeah, Taylor Swift brought this out. Maybe she's not all bad. Although you could have bought us Peacock accounts, god damn it.
Taylor Swift hangs in a box with Brittany Mahomes and hasn't thrown her out of the box yet. She's not a good person. Say what you want about her giving money to her groupies and her roadies and all that shit. If you can spend 10 minutes in a box with Brittany without trying to hit her or throw her out of the box, you're not a good person.
Yeah, that quarterback show on Netflix really brought that one home.
Well, it just showed what we all thought already. There's times where you're like, yeah, no, Britney's a piece of shit, but nothing's really proven it. I just feel that way. And then that show came out and we're like, oh no, every single thing I thought about her was true. All right.
So to get back on track, I too have the Bills winning this one. It's a rivalry, and the Chiefs have never looked weaker coming into a playoff series under starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I think Kermit gets thrown into a fucking wall on this one. That O line also has a lot of problems against above par defensive lines. Um, yeah, I don't see this one going well. Um, excuse me. I don't see the Walrus keeping back a lot of his offensive talent to block too, which I think
Mhm.
is going to really put them in a hole early.
Not their game.
No, it's not. I mean, you
Every
ask
their game,
Trev,
their
go
game
for
is 5 yard out routes or 30-yard bombs.
it.
They have no mid range game. They don't throw from 5 to 30.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe, was it for the season, if I'm not mistaken, Chiefs wide receivers had the most drops of any receiving core in the league.
By far. Like it wasn't even close.
So that's not going to bode well in Buffalo. Yeah, I know. Oh, the Chiefs played negative weather last week, which is a whole other thing. Roger Goodell,
Yeah.
like, for fuck's sakes, make the cold weather games, the early games, like, get them some sunlight.
They
We don't
played
care.
in negative weather and fucking Mahomes' helmet exploded. Like, what is that? What more do we need to see than that?
I know. If you're delusional and think the NFL gives a shit about safety, um, please send us your drugs. We would love to see what you're taking, and we'll
Or
share with everybody. Yeah.
or come on the show and you're welcome to debate why you believe the NFL cares. I would be happy to have a back and forth with you.
Because they have a 501c3 that's called the NFL Cares Foundation.
Woohoo!
Yeah, if somebody's telling you something directly, maybe they mean the opposite sometimes. Fourth wall broken again. Let's go. All right. So our next two games are going to be heavily biased. Um, Texans at Los Ravens. Phelpsy, who you got there? And try not to give away who you're biased towards.
D'Amico Ryans will be coach of the year this year. CJ Stroud will be offensive rookie of the year this year, and there's a chance that Will Anderson may be defensive rookie of the year this year. A little tougher on that one, but it's possible. Uh, the Ravens, on the other hand, are the only team in the league with not one but two Pro Bowl quarterbacks on their roster because Tyler Huntley, who in his career has 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, is a Pro Bowl quarterback. Sorry, a Pro Bowl games quarterback. Lamar has been playing at an MVP caliber this season. Lamar is going to win the MVP this season and has been just a one-man wrecking crew. They also just elevated Dalvin Cook to their active roster from the practice squad. However, for me, I think this Texans team is different than Texans teams of the past. I think they filled up a lot of holes in their secondary. I think they're getting pass rush they haven't gotten since JJ left. And even though they have a no-name receiving core, even with their best receiver, Tank Dell, out for the season, Nico Collins is playing like a first-team NFL wide receiver right now. I've got Houston in a tight one. I do think that part of that comes down to the fact that Mike McDaniel, the DC for the Ravens, has been getting a lot of head coaching interest right now. And so I think that's taken his mind off the game a lot. Having the bye week for the Ravens is probably the worst thing that could have happened because they also rested their starters in week 18. So Lamar hasn't played in 3 weeks now. I think there's going to be a little bit of rust there versus the Texans, who had to play all their guys the whole time down to the wire against the Colts. Had to play all their guys until the fourth quarter when they blew out the Browns last game. I've got Texans in a close one. It's going to be like a 1 or 2 point game, but I got Texans on the road.
Texans on the road. I'm not gonna really variate from that too much or vary from that sway, whatever. Um Texans the Texans and the Packers are very similar, and they have a very excellent core of really young folks that you haven't heard of yet. It's really I mean, it's awesome for the Texans, especially um coming out of the whole Deshaun Watson thing, that they're able to rebuild this quickly and find success. What I worry about with the Ravens and them resting their starters in week 18, yeah, I know you want to avoid injuries, but I wonder how much of that was about recovering from injuries across the board.
Yeah. they've had their starting running back 2 or 3 years in a row now is left early in the season with a season-ending injury. That says something about the just absolute beating they're taking week in and week out.
Yeah, and that offense is not for the faint of heart either. I mean, everybody is just hard nosed running the ball. Yeah, I think that takes a toll. Leaving out one regular season game isn't going to save them here. I think there's a lot of rust. I think there's a lot of band aids that are going to come off for the Ravens in particular. I think the Texans make their statement to the world as well. I don't think it's as close either. I mean, you said it was close. I don't think it's going to be that close. I'm thinking it's going to be a touchdown extra point plus game, personally. But that's just
No,
me.
I get that. I totally get that. Also worth mentioning too, that they're a run-heavy offense, right?
Mhm.
And this year, the Texans' run defense has been the strength of their team. They have a decent secondary, but they've stopped the rush at a really, really high level. If Lamar wants to run, they have a pretty solid linebacking core that they're going to spy with. And D'Amico Ryans, former 49ers DC, has seen Lamar plenty of times.
Yeah, that he has. That he has. So moving on to the last game in which there's again absolutely zero bias.
None.
The Green Bay Packers heading out to sunny San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Jay, who you got?
So, Brock Purdy in and out of the lineup with injuries. Christian McCaffrey in and out of the lineup with injuries. Similar to the Ravens, all their stars, Debo in and out of the lineup with injuries. I think the Niners are a better team than the Ravens. I think they're more multidimensional than the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a team where if you take away their ability to run the football, they're not going to beat you with just throwing the ball down in and down out. I think the Niners are a team that can beat you either way. But at the same time, the Packers are the hottest team in the NFL right now. After a mediocre start, they have been on an absolute scorcher down the stretch here. A little bit warmer weather when you're used to playing in the cold is going to be nice for the Packers, honestly, getting out west. I think this one's going to be a super close one, too. I think those first two games are going to be not very well contested. I think the Texans game, I think the Packers game will be tight. I think this one's going to be a low scoring game. I think the Niners are a very good defensive team. I think the Packers can be when they need to be, assuming that Jair doesn't go out there and make himself a captain. But assuming that he stays on the sideline, he's supposed to stay on the sideline. I've got the Packers a tight one, but it's going to be like 17-14 or something low scoring.
Yeah, I got a fluky low game as well. I'm trying to be as objective as I can. In full disclosure, I am one of the many owners of the Packers. Um, so I'm not talking from my heart here. I'm talking from just what we see. I think the 49ers are going to come out rested. I think it's a 7-point win for the 49ers in a low scoring game. Call it 24-17, something along those lines. Um, However, I do want to say this. You called it a mediocre start for the Packers. I call it fucking atrocious. All right. LaFleur was on the chopping block for a
Yep.
good part of this season.
So was
At
Love.
least by, the talking head pundits. Um, and then all of a sudden something clicked. Defense started playing a lot better, started winning a lot of the takeaway battles. Jordan Love started to learn how to be a quarterback that won't lose the game. And I think that's been huge for him. I think next season he's going to make a huge jump. But I think disappointment has to be in the cards for the Packers for long-term success here. Also, I want to mention this now. Brett Favre was a quarterback, who showed his penis to a Maxim model. Yes, we all know this. We all know this. But
Former Florida State Seminole.
Oh God, fuck the Seminoles. Seminoles suck genitals. Anyway, so Brett Favre, I would argue, while he was in Green Bay, could have won more. Aaron Rodgers, without a shadow of a doubt, could have won more if not for shitty fucking coaching. Screw you, Dom Capers.
Screw you, Dom Capers, former Texans coach as well. Go suck a dick, Dom.
Yeah, maybe you need a spell defense before you can actually game plan for it. Anyways, I think with this coaching staff and this young core, this could be one of those weird, wacko years that starts a new Packers dynasty that could actually cross the finish line consistently. The future is bright for Green Bay so long as we take care of our own baby. So even though I'm saying the 49ers today, this is a short-term loss for a long-term gain.
So what you're saying is on season 2, you and I are just going to get into it this time next year when it's Texans versus Packers in the Super Bowl.
Yep, in Nolans, y'all. In Nolans. And then we got to get into the debate. I mean, you've been to New Orleans, right?
I have.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. All right. So we would have to get into an oyster debate too. I mean, is it Acme or is it Felix's?
I'm a crawfish guy through and
Oh, you're
through.
crawfish.
I'm a
Oh, man.
crawfish guy.
Oh,
Crawl
shit.
daddy.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
Hey, they some good little insect lobsters. Good
Damn
little
right.
fly lobsters. Yeah.
Little baby lobster.
Yeah. But that's another thing you can come on the show and debate is Acme or Felix's because it's Felix's or you're wrong. So there you go. If you've
Damn
never
right.
been to NOLA, go check them out. Go check them out.
Nola.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. So some stuff is happening in Texas, and it is weird. It's not a good week for
Yeah.
Texas as a
Side note, that's where we go from sports to just weird shit for the rest of the show now.
Oh yeah. So we talked about the Cowboys and how much they suck. So moving from Fort Worth, Texas, which by the way will not be hosting an NFL playoff game this weekend because Go Pack Go, comes a story about a women's basketball collegiate team where the 14-4 Lady Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University, TCU, take care of your horny frogs. What are you doing? Will be
Horny for
forfeiting
life.
the next 2 games due to quote unquote a lack of players. Despite having 14 players listed on their roster and having played 11 in their previous game. Additionally, it was posted on the TCU women's Twitter page that they will be hosting open tryouts for any full-time students. I'm so glad we picked this topic because actually I could show how we're smart with this, but we'll get there eventually. So 2 questions we're going to start off with. I'm just going to list the first one first, and then we'll both kind of talk about it, and then we'll get to the
Sounds
second
good.
one.
Let's
All right.
rage.
So question 1, what happened that they went from 14 players to less than 5?
You want to start us off?
I mean, I could, but I don't want to.
I can.
You can.
All right.
I just like to give you the opportunity to say your piece first.
So answer number 1, which is the most obvious answer, and truly, I wouldn't post it on my Twitter why this happened either because I'd be too embarrassed. They lost a dance battle. Somebody stomped their yard, and they had to leave the town forever. That's answer number 1. Dance battles are a very serious thing in the South. If you've ever seen any movie based out of Atlanta, you know that yards get stomped daily.
You remember Kevin Bacon and Footloose? This is correct. This is truth.
Answer number 2, also fairly embarrassing. So they're in Fort Worth, right? Fort Worth is not very far from Frisco, where the Dallas Cowboys play. The coach, being a huge Cowboys fan, obviously booked a party bus this week, and then next week booked a flight to San Francisco to play the number 1 seed. Both of those deposits non-refundable. So clearly, with them being non-refundable deposits, he still has to go, but he needs an out. Let's blame my team for there's not being enough of them. Obviously,
exactly. It's only logical.
Answer number 3. And I don't know because I haven't checked the facts. Answer number 3, all of them went to the same high school. And because of that, their high school football team, for some reason, is playing a game in January. Texas football is a pretty big deal. All of them have to go to homecoming in January at their Texas high school. Uh,
Absolutely.
and then number four, which is also very possible, all of them looked at what an average WNBA salary is and said, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm done. Walked off and decided they wanted to join the swim team.
And they got better NIL deals from it. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Let's go.
LFG. Okay, so you missed the most obvious answer, so I'm a little disappointed in your
More
lack
obvious
of
than their yard getting stomped? Sir.
yeah.
Sir.
Yeah. There is a very simple solution to why they went from 14 players to less than 5. And so quiz time for Wrangler. Um there is how do you put it? There is an artistic cinematic experience that came out recently that may have caused this. Do you know what that is?
Barbie movie?
Oh no, more recent than that. Like 2024 recent.
An artistic cinematic experience. The Beyonce movie?
No, I'll give you one more guess. No
Uh,
phone.
the the new Godzilla movie.
Oh, which is actually very good. And they're actually releasing a black and white version of it, which I want to see. It's going to be
That's
awesome.
even more cinematic. I actually
Um,
kind of dig it. I like
uh,
that they kept it like weirdly 1940s Japanese, even like the creepy ass eyes the thing had. But yeah,
yeah, it was a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. As somebody with a hearing disability, I loved it. That was all in subtitles. Nobody else liked it, but I very much appreciated that. But all of your answers were surprisingly and shockingly wrong.
yeah, not even fucking
Because
close. I'm terrible at this.
yeah, that's okay. Let me help you out because
It's fine. I get a
um,
participation trophy.
hey, yeah, drink your participation trophy. Tell us how the mango and chilies are going before I reveal the answer. This is called dramatic
I
pause.
think the bottom third is just Michelob Ultra. I think I was right before.
Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh. So, a remake of the instant classic, which for some reason, no, I'm not going to go into that. Um, but of the classic Mean Girls was released
Oh,
recently. So, how
oh,
do you go from 14 players to less than 5? People were throwing down at the cinema, baby. Silver screen coming back. That is the only reason.
they had to go see it 14 days in a row just to make sure they didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Mean Girls, the remake, out now in theaters, unofficial sponsor. Yeah, that's why. Come on.
I
Come
mean,
on,
it makes
figure it out.
sense. The logic's there.
Yeah. Now, here's the not so great answer, but maybe a little bit more truthful to it. Colleges have been jacking Title IX since 1991.
Yep.
Straight up. 10 years ago, I was in my doctorate program, and this was one of the topics we talked about was Title IX. My teacher was one of or my faculty member who was instructing the class, I apologize for that, was one of the folks who helped get Title IX passed. Like she was boots on the ground there doing the whole 9 yards. Really big influence on my career and life. Um, and so obviously this was going to be one of the topics. And the topic itself was modern day, how are our colleges and universities getting around Title IX? And there's a lot of ways that universities do this. Okay. So, excuse me, one of the ways is by counting male administrators and male participants as female athletes or female administrators. And in sports such as like track and field, where you can count them 3 times for indoor,
Hmm.
outdoor, and cross country. If you have a men's coach or a male who's coaching a women's sport, then hey, you get 3 right there. And then
Well, and I mean, it makes sense to do that too, because let's be honest, track kids don't have any friends. So if you count them 3 times, they now have 2 friends.
2 friends. Hey, you're never alone with the schizophrenic, folks. Ian Hunter. So, I think that's one of the things that really caught up. It can be shown here. Sure, you have 14 players on the active roster, but another way that schools are very obviously getting away with sufficing Title IX is by recruiting women who maybe they played a year of junior varsity basketball in high school. Hey, come on, we'll list you on our roster. We'll give you swag. We'll pay a little of your tuition. You don't have to do anything. Just sign this paper. And that has been going on, I mean, shoot, at least 20 years now. on a massive scale. Look up the University of Southern Florida and all the great things that they did in that realm. I think that something similar is happening with the TCU Lady Horned Frogs currently, in that they have essentially a loaded roster of folks who haven't played basketball in a couple of years.
I guess my only issue with that though is if they're 14-4 and they played 11 girls in their last game, then in theory, 11 of their girls should be able to play. Maybe 3 of them are absolutely terrible, but I don't know.
Should, and as always, the injury bug could come up.
Which
Legit.
is fair. I just find it hard to believe that 11 people got injured in one game. Now, one of their players did suffer a season-ending injury in that game, one of the 11, but the other 10 were not injured at the end of the game. And then suddenly we just don't have enough players to play.
Yeah. And we obviously wish her speedy recovery and such, but
Yeah.
you
There
know,
is there is one other weird piece that goes into this as well that we didn't bring up, and I don't think I haven't mentioned to you. So in reading about this, if you it obviously goes as a forfeit if you're not able to play the game, and because it's 2 conference games, it counts as a conference loss. However, it apparently does not count as an overall loss, just a conference loss. The next 2 games are against the number 7 team in the country and the number 24 team in the country. As weird as this is going to sound, is this somewhat gamesmanship that, look, we know we're not going to beat 2 top 25 teams. We're 14-4. We're not ranked. If we lose 2 conference games, but it doesn't go towards our overall record, it actually may help us in the long run come conference or NCAA tournament time.
hey, there's something to be said for that, right? If you're able to maintain or get back a national ranking after these forfeitures, yeah,
When they
shit.
didn't have one, but their next 2 games are against top 25 teams. So if you're on the
Right.
fringe of being a top 25, the only thing that happens if you lose is now you won't be. And if you don't feel you have a strong enough team to beat them, it's kind of a fluffed up record. So, I mean, it's something to be said about it.
Yeah, why press your folks when you could come in for the postseason conference tournament, get an automatic qualifier into it? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a lot of sense too. A lot of reasons and not a lot of good explanation as to why. All right, so given all that, we move on to question 2. Phelps, we'll start with you. What penalty, other than the forfeit, should the TCU Lady Horned Frogs receive for not being able to field a team for 2 games?
Yeah. So this one is near and dear to me. There's having been at low level, having been at high level, having been at mid level, there is a lot of programs in the country that just don't deserve to have teams, period. One of my best friends is coaching at a tiny school outside of Raleigh. Coaches men's lacrosse. He has a roster of 18 kids and doesn't have a single goalie on his entire roster. He's going to have a defenseman play goalie the entire season, which is not only unsafe, but like, how can that be fun for anybody, right? Just the situation he walked into. He brought kids in his first year last year, but it's tough to bring enough in when you come into a roster of 15 to begin with. So in my eyes, and maybe I'm a little overly strict on this, but I feel like you should get the death penalty as a program. If there's any reason that you don't have enough players to play a game, it takes 5 girls to play basketball. You have 14 on your roster. Lacrosse, it takes 10 guys to play a game of lacrosse. Most rosters are 40 to 50. Even football, you have 22 kids in theory plus 3 special 25 kids in theory. And I know obviously you play way more than that, but in theory, you could play a game with 25 kids. Your roster is 120 something. If there's ever a reason that you're not able to field a team and play a game, you don't deserve to have that program. Death penalty. And then those kids can go get a better college experience somewhere else. It may be harsh, but at least then those kids, even though they don't know it now, can go to a real program that actually takes it seriously and actually have the real college experience they're supposed to have. I also think that individual coach should get the death penalty. If you ever get into a situation where you're not able to field a team because you didn't do your fucking job and recruit enough kids to play a game, death penalty. You shouldn't be a coach. It should be a privilege, not a right.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to give them the death penalty, but I would say you need to forfeit the rest of your games.
The rest of the season. Yeah.
Yes. and allow free transfer without. And I know the NCAA rules are, not really
You can
enforced.
transfer 9 times now if you
Yeah,
want to.
yeah, but
Two of his little brothers trying to get a sixth year
yeah. Well,
or seventh year or something like that.
I also think there should be a rule that you can only get as many transfers as you can count to on without your fingers and toes.
In
Um,
football too, because
no,
that's
no, no. In general, I'm talking even like people who don't play sports in college. Like that's how many times you could go to a different university. So
I like it. I like it.
yeah. Make it fair across the board. That's all I'm saying. But the rest of the season, you're right on that one. Like you administratively have failed these students in giving them an opportunity that you recruited them to be a part of. I mean, in no way, shape, or form is that acceptable in other forms of life, right? Like, let's say, like currently, I'm the number two in a department that has close to 20 other members in it, right? And so let's say, we come up on the third week of school and all of a sudden 17 of them are out, right? Our accrediting body is going to come down on us and say, why the fuck are kids not able to sign up and attend over 30 different classes that you're offering? Probably closer, let's just name it 54. Why aren't they able to do that? Our accrediting body would come down on us. We would get sanctions. It would be all over the news, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
You probably haven't heard about this story until you were like, ooh, floral sports show. Let's check this out.
Sports.
Sports. And yeah, so how, we're sending, and I don't mean this as a knock against the players on the team. This
Not
is
at
a
all.
knock against the coaching staff. This is a knock against
Administration.
well, I was going to say the director of player development as well as the athletic director
Yep.
for not doing their jobs and ensuring that you can actually field this team to provide this opportunity for these young ladies.
Institutional control is a very real thing. When the NCAA looks at what penalties are doled out, institutional control is the first thing that they talk about, which means if your assistant coach does something stupid, the head coach gets penalized because he didn't have institutional control. It's the same thing. If this happens to a program, that's on the athletic director, plain and simple. If you delegated and just said, oh, we're a football school, we don't give a shit about women's basketball, whatever, just go bring in kids, whatever, I don't care, then you don't deserve to be the fucking athletic director there. I get that you're a Power 5 football school, but you have a responsibility to every student athlete on your campus, whether they're a football player or not.
And your train sucks, by the way.
Yup.
I don't care who that offends, but your like knockoff rendition of Thomas ain't cutting it.
I actually wanted to talk too in my opening statement before I got sidetracked here, but you remember how we used to talk about the lane train all the time?
How could I forget? It lives in my
Okay.
heart.
So I want, and this is more of a suggestion that needs to happen or something's going to get burned down. No. This is more of a, hey, this needs to happen than anything else. Don't not steal my
Arson.
idea. Take my idea. We need to, in Charlotte, we need to have the Biff bus. So the lane train, Lane Kiffin, right? There's a train that goes around the campus and it has like his face on the front. And the really drunk kids are like, oh, I'm too drunk to go to the stadium that's 10 feet away, but oh, I'll get on Lane's train. There is a head football coach at UNC Charlotte whose name is Biff Poggi, and he is my spirit animal. He is a former offensive lineman, former offensive line coach. He walks around and just cut off sleeveless t-shirts, and it's amazing. We need a Biff bus, and it needs to just be like his face on the front, and then like over the wheels are just like two arms just like coming out with no sleeves on them. They already have a bus that goes around the whole campus. Just add that to it, and it's a win.
Yeah, or just get like some wood, maybe some metal, some nails, bunch of drywall, and make the buses, turn them into fucking DeLoreans.
Even better.
Old school DeLoreans.
Let's
Biff
have both.
actually wins. It's the alternate reality that could happen at UNC
And
Charlotte.
and Biff gets brought out to the field in a DeLorean. Instead of bringing him out a fucking gator, we just have a DeLorean car drive onto the sidelines.
Exactly. It has out of time as the fucking license plate and
The
everything.
Biff Lorian.
Out of time, losers. Yeah. That's the real trilogy right there. And I love Star Wars, but oh yeah.
I'm all for some Biff Lorian.
Yeah. What butthead. All right, yeah. So, all right, you buttheads. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Come to our final segment where we head to a place that is near and dear to all of our hearts. It's the travel destination of the United States of America.
Tourism.
I don't even know why I have to say it. Lexington, Kentucky. Like all inclusive resorts, palm trees, perpetually just the perfect temperature, whatever that is in your mind. That's Lexington, Kentucky. Oh, wait, it's not? Oh, shit. Well, it
damn.
may soon be for our friends, not from this world, extraterrestrial tourists, if you will. So you know what that means if you've seen us in our other shows. It's time for the Thomas Bahama, unofficially sponsored Giuseppe Stromboli Redo of the Week. Yeah. Get out your and get your spices and throw them on your pasta and do what
cut you so bad you're gonna wish I no cut you so bad.
Okay, let's not go that far, but we're gonna try and have a fun time with this. Obviously, if you have no idea what we're fucking talking about, which means you're a sane and rational human being, this segment, the Giuseppe Stromboli Redo of the Week, is in honor of the famous remake of a popular series of books out of the UK turned bang noodle wielding and most likely an absolute unit from New Jersey wizard.
Definitely. His hair slips back real nice.
Real nice. It's our Giuseppe Stromboli Redo of the Week, unofficially sponsored by Tomothy Bahama. Tomothy Bahama Banana Hammock. Banana Hammock.
Tomas Bahamas.
When you think quality shirts for shorefront nursing homes, think Thomas Bahamas.
Woo! I always do.
So, in an effort to bring more tourism to the already over-flooded city of Lexington, Kentucky, state officials this week decided to send a message to Captain Kirk and the USS Enterprise. To space. Final frontier. This message being sent by infrared laser beams to space. Not making this up. Reads, quote, maybe I should do this. What voice should I use for this? Like, what voice should I use to talk to our extraterrestrial friends?
Consuela from Family Guy.
You see, the first thing you'll notice as you descend through Earth's atmosphere above central Kentucky is the lush green countryside that surrounds Lexington's vibrant city center. That's our famous bluegrass.
Can Consuelo lead us into every single Giuseppe we ever do from now on?
No. You get a choice. You get a choice. How you use it is up to you.
No, I clean.
Mr. Spock, I clean. It goes on to describe gentle rolling hills, horse farms, and bourbon drinks before suggesting places to stay and eat and shop. So this week, you're a city with a floundering tourism industry, shocker, I know, and think green spacemen, space money, and Consuela is how you're going to make that Skrillo. So, Jay, I'm going to send this to you first. What cities do you feel could use alien income outside of Roswell? Because that one's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And what messages should they be sending to the stars? And I'm going to add another point to this that wasn't on the script. In what voice should they be doing it? Because it's
Ooh,
just too much
love
fun.
it. So I kind of figured on this one we can just kind of just free ball as we go. We don't need to take turns. If something comes to you, just kind of roll with it. I got a few to kick us off, and you got any to come up, just jump in, right?
See it
Um,
clean.
Quickly. I feel like one place that would be great to start is San Francisco, and it would just be, oh, aliens.
That
um,
that obviously Toby from Family Guy.
yep. I think that another great one would be Tampa, Florida, and it would be if you have to bury a body, we have a lot of tigers. That bitch.
That bitch.
That bitch. I think that you could also take that a step further and go just the entire state of Texas, and it just be, y'all got any tigers? No? Then fuck you. We don't like foreigners.
They just redo Wonderwall. It's like the same fucking like guitar. It's like today was gonna be the day that we were gonna let you in now. Get the fuck out. Texas. Grow up. Oh, that would have been good as Hank Hill. Oh, I thought of that too.
Oh, I think we could take this international too. And I think it'd be like you could go to France just as a country, and then it'd just be like, you want to get inappropriately touched without your consent? Come here and tourist.
God, it is strange because I had a conversation earlier about how French people are the worst people on the planet.
They're absolute shitbags. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Other than French Canadians. I mean, that's a whole nother level of stupid, but all right, what else you got?
England, are you tired of space brushing your space teeth?
Mm, don't need the choppers. What else you got?
Choppers. I mean, I think Salt Lake City is an obvious. I don't even know if I need to go into that one. I think it kind of speaks for itself.
Magic pants bricks. Magic pants bricks.
I mean, you can go to Scotland, and Scotland would just be, y'all got tree fitty? Hey, aliens, aliens, give me about tree fitty.
13-foot tall Loch Ness monster. Yeah.
Damn it, monster.
Yeah. So I don't know why, but after reading this, the first thing that just came to mind was the lead singer of Metalocalypse just coming up and be like, Tucumcari. And that's the whole message. That's it.
I like it.
Yeah. I think it's a really good thing. Denver, obviously space weed. I don't think you would call it space weed. I think you gotta just call it like something like earthweed. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but Denver's message can't be so simple. It's got to be like
With Seth Rogen. Yes.
Dudical.
Montefiore John Stone, the actual official sponsor of Denver. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That's another one. What other towns could use some advertising? I'm thinking Detroit is just a bear just screaming.
It's like the Titanic, but with bears on it. I think West Virginia's entire state would just be, hey, y'all spalians, y'all spalians, space aliens. Oh, Mick Ultra.
Got him.
I don't know where Mick Ultra's from, but that might be there. Hey, aliens, y'all got cousins too. Come share.
Sydney, Australia. Crikey, Earth people. That's it. That's it. South Africa. Cricket, because nobody else knows how to play this fucking game. Even though that was very much Wales / very much UK / a very bad representation of that whole island.
It's okay. It's okay. Kansas, hey, Tourists, you looking for some excitement? You want to go somewhere where your tourist dollars are going to be worth every cent? It's not here.
Russia. Comrades come to Moscow. Comrades don't leave Moscow because they have too much fun. All right, where else needs some tourists? We need more tourists.
Yeah, we definitely need a lot of tourists here. I mean, Canada would just be like, "Hey, bud, y'all want to come out here?" Well, I don't know why he has a southern accent now. Oh God, Mickey Ultra.
Fucking Toronto hipsters.
I can't. Fuck it. I don't even want Canada anymore. Canada's his own animal.
No,
Fuck it.
no. Canada's like we're out of the extraterrestrial market. Yeah, so I got an obvious one, which is Albuquerque, which is just Bryan Cranston going, "I am the one who knocks," which is more like he's trying to invite himself out to outer space.
Is he
But
his own tourist?
yeah, he might be, but at the same time, they don't really know English too well. We assume so. Maybe they might take it as a sign of greetings, and that's how Mars Attacks starts. Oh shit!
So Kentucky started Mars attacks in this scenario.
Oh no, Albuquerque does. There is an actual spaceport in Albuquerque too. That's not really operational, but
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
there.
never been used.
Yeah, yeah.
Miami. Tutte la gasolina! Tutte la gasolina! Tutte la gasolina!
Darling. Yep, that's it. Done. And if it's a video message, you just see Dexter just in the background, like yeah, he's gonna have
Pitbull just in the foreground, just like 305.
Mr. Worldwide, darling. Yeah. And then the aliens will just go away completely. Even though I'm pretty sure the aliens roll up their windows when they pass by Earth and just like, nope, nope.
Don't
not,
need this.
Do not look them in the eye. Do not look them. Oh my God, he's coming over with the squeegee. Jesus fucking Christ, Tim. I told you to fuck it. Hi. Hi. No, you don't have to. Oh my God. Why? How are you keeping up with us? Why are you? Oh my God. You just made the window dirty. Give him a 5. Just give him a 5. Just give him a 5. Just give. Thank you. Tim, you're never driving again in this fucking quadrant.
I got another one for you. It's Baltimore. Rat City, bitch. Rat City, bitch. Rat City, bitch. Rat City, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously Seattle's is just the song that was made for the most recent The Batman by Kurt Cobain of Nirvana.
In the way. Dude, side note. I was in
I'm
Virginia
so
Beach
sorry.
this weekend. I'm in Virginia Beach this weekend, and I'm at a brewery. And in the back of the brewery, they have this whole. It's like a brewery and cadence hall, which I guess is a way of saying music hall in like hipster terms. And in the back room, there's a live band playing, and then there's a singer, and the singer just sounds absolutely terrible, like they've never sung in their life. And so, in my mind, I'm like, all right, like this has got to be like karaoke, right? Like live band karaoke.
Yeah.
So they go for a couple songs, and the singer is just terrible. And so the bartender comes over, and I've had a couple drinks, and I look at her, I'm like, hey, and this is not even late. It's like 7 p.m. And I look at her, I'm like, hey, I gotta ask you a question. I'm like, what's going on in the back? Is that like live band karaoke? And she goes, no, that's School of Rock. And I'm like, okay. So for someone who doesn't know what the hell you just said, what the hell is School of Rock? And she's like, oh, it's all these kids, and basically they go to school to get better at music, and then they come out and they play. And without missing a beat, I go, wait. You're telling me this girl that's singing is paying money to get better at singing? Like, did she start yesterday? And the girl just kind of looks at me and walks away. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I'm honest. But where I'm going with this is I was there for like an hour, and every single song they played was either Foo Fighters or Nirvana. They played 20 songs, and every single one was Foo Fighters or Nirvana. I'm like, who goes to a school of rock that only plays 2 bands?
Yeah, there's more to life. And I love the Foo Fighters. Davey Grohl and I were born in the same hospital. Also didn't have that on my bingo card, dropping that bit of knowledge, episode 1, but still.
Hey,
Like, come on.
shit happens.
Yeah, there's actually one of those above the soccer bar that I go to for Liverpool matches. A School of
Nice.
Rock. Yeah.
It's actually pretty legit. I mean, in theory, it was cool. Like the musicians were good. The drummer was awesome. It's just like their singers just you're at a certain point. I don't care how rich your parents are. Understand that all the money in the world doesn't make you a singer.
No, but according to South Park, it will cure cancer. So
True.
truth indeed.
Facts.
Truth. We had a lot of truth, a lot of facts, a lot of good alien messaging. We even dumped a little bit of actual knowledge on people and made fun of the Cowboys. I'd say that's a hell of a week there, Dragon Wrangler. What do you think?
I'd agree with you. I think nobody got serious either, which is all I can ever ask for in any episode of anything we do.
Oh yeah, it's been fantastic. So, with that, got to say, and I'm sorry to say it, but Island Time is over for now with week one in the books of
It's
Floral
5 o'clock somewhere, and that's literally where both of us are right now. It's 5 o'clock here.
It is 5 o'clock here, indeed.
The irony.
Yeah. So, week one in the books of Floral Foolishness. What are you doing? Your cue.
Sports!
There it is.
I had to open a beer.
Oh,
I had to reach. It was over there. It was a long way away. There was more dots that time.
there were a lot of dots. So we thank you for joining us this week. When we're going to post next, who the fuck knows? As I said earlier, we're not podcasters. It's your boy Stoczy, Mike Stotes, joined as always by the Dragon Wrangler, Jeremy Phelps. If you disagree with anything that we said on this show, join us, reach out, whatever. And as always, you stay tropical, whale's vagina.